Hi everyone, John and I are off on another adventure. This time we are on a camping adventure at Falling Waters State Park in Chipley, Florida. Chipley is in the panhandle of Florida, about an hour north of Panama City. Falling Waters State Park development started in 1963 on this hill, which has an elevation of 322 feet and has a limestone base. A stream flowing from the hill plunges over a cliff and disappears through an underground channel. Some sinks and caverns are near the falls, which powered an early grist mill. A pioneer-era whiskey distillery was nearby. Indians and others mined the area for colorfully pigmented rocks used in making paints and dyes. The area was the scene of early oil drilling efforts, as well as the site of a one-room school and a large horticultural nursery. So John and I are doing a little hiking here at Falling Waters State Park. And the trail that we are on now leads to the lake and to the waterfall. So it's a partly sunny, partly shady trail. It does have elevation changes. We are currently going downhill. So when we come back, we will be going uphill. So the trails here go through a pine forest. So we've got tall pine trees. So where there are areas of shade, you're going to be in the sun for most of the hike, in and out of shade and sun. So dress accordingly. It does get cooler up here in northern Florida in the wintertime. We're here in the fall. We're here late October, and today is in the high 80s, so it is warm. Tonight we'll get down into the low 60s. So here's a nice shady spot.
Is that a lizard?
Yep, here's a lizard. Here is the lake picnic area. It's warm enough today. I wish John and I would have packed our bathing suits. Okay, so we're going to keep on walking and head over to the waterfall. In 1919, there was a serious effort made to find oil on Falling Waters Hill. A man by the name of Jose Montanzas sparked the interest of oiled wildcatters with legends of a rock-enclosed substance that would burn. Other such speculation was given by wildcat stock promoters that claimed some of the rocks had been formed from oil-bearing sand. So in the midst of a beautiful piece of earth, wildcatters began to erect a drilling site on an apparent earth fault. A tall wooden derrick and a steam-driven rig were used for the drilling operation. The derrick was built 8 miles away at Hard Labor Creek and brought to the drill site by an ox-drawn cart. The drillers had little luck finding oil. When 3,900 feet was reached, a blow of gas was released from the drill site. Area residents were temporarily excited by a false report of a gusher. The oil well continued to be drilled to a final depth of 4,912 feet. When it was all said and done, no oil in commercial quantities was found, and the well was capped off in 1921. The dugout depression before you is known as a sludge pit. All of the byproducts of the oil drilling process were dumped into the pit. A trench was dug to carry the pit contents to the stream that feeds the waterfall. Falling water sinkhole state natural feature. The significant natural feature is a system of sinkholes formed by the solution of limestone underlying these high pine lands. The most notable sink is Falling Water Sink, a smooth wall pit 100 feet in depth into which a stream plunges and disappears into a sloping cavern. You're looking at the highest waterfall in Florida, 73 feet. This is not a typical fall because here the water falls into a sinkhole. Over thousands of years, water containing a weak natural acid sped through the cracks in the soft limestone. Below the surface, the rock dissolved, forming underground cavities. Eventually, the roof collapsed, resulting in the sinkhole. During a summer thunderstorm, you may see a raging torrent cascading over the edge. In a drought, the water may be a slow trickle. This limestone formed over 20 million years ago from animal shells and sand deposited on the ocean floor when the sea covered most of Florida. Is a handicap accessible pathway to the waterfall. Corn was ground here at a grist mill, which was powered by the waterfall during the Civil War. A legal whiskey distillery was operated near the falls around 1880, and the whiskey was sold at Barry's Wine Shop in a frontier railway construction site that later became the city of Chipley. Well, our first night here at Falling Water State Park went fairly well. We did have some rain, and our tent did leak a tad bit. But for the most part, we stayed pretty dry, had a nice night, a great night's sleep. This morning, we are going to head over to Florida Caverns State Park. It's about 20 miles from here. We're actually meeting some friends from the View from Florida Facebook group, and meeting them there, and then we're all coming back here, and they've got a campsite here in the campgrounds as well. So John and I drove about 20 miles from Falling Water State Park to Marianna, Florida, and we're here at Florida Caverns State Park, and we are going to go on a caverns tour. We're waiting at the departure center, and we should be heading into the caverns shortly.
Many years ago, the whole state of Florida was under a warm, shallow sea. So just imagine fish, dolphins, maybe even a shark swimming in front of us. Whenever a fish got hurt, it would go to the bottom of the ocean floor. There it got covered up by sand, seashells, and even more sea life. This created a bunch of piling. Over time, the piling turned into pressure, and that is what made our limestone. And an easier way of saying that is limestone's just hard beach sand. So we're going to get to see a few cool fossils today. But on the way to the first official room, we're going to have to go through what's called the tuck and squeeze. So y'all just watch your head and be careful. Ow.
bats in here all the time?
There are. We don't see them as much during the warmer season, just because I think that they migrate somewhere cooler.
Right.
But within the next couple of months, we should be seeing a lot more activity. The majority of Florida does rely on the aquifer for the drinking water. Whenever the water level in that aquifer changes, though, it just causes the ground that we walked on to shift, settle, and change too, resulting in that fracture. Then you may see a few different colors, but they're all natural. That white color is a mineral known as calcite. Calcite comes from rain going through limestone and meeting with seashells and bone on the way down. Right here looks like some yummy chocolate pudding. That chocolate color is manganese. Manganese comes from soil. Up here, this rust brown color, that's from iron. Iron is in clay. So this is our waterfall room. We call it that because these rocks kind of look like waterfalls. There's even more rimstone pools like in that last room.
So yesterday we traveled about 45 minutes from Falling Waters State Park to Florida Caverns State Park and viewed the caves. Today, John and I drove about an hour from Falling Waters State Park in Chipley to Three Rivers State Park in Sneads, Florida. Pine and hardwood forests dominate the 686 acres found at Three Rivers State Park. The Flint River and the Chattahoochee River combine to form Lake Seminole above the Jim Woodruff Dam. Below the dam, the waters become the mighty Apalachicola River, which flows untamed until it pours into Apalachicola Bay and eventually into the Gulf of Mexico. The name of the park is a tribute to these three rivers. So in addition to the miles of hiking trails here at Three Rivers State Park, birding is a popular pastime, as well as freshwater fishing. They do have a campground here as well, with about 30 campsites available for RV or tent camping. Here's the view of Lake Seminole from one of the trails. Okay, so I'm going to take a little walk through the campgrounds here. We are in Camp Site 7, and we are directly across from the bathhouse, so it's a short little walk. Of course, we are in a tent. We've seen a few other tent campers, but mostly everyone is in some kind of camper, RV, like that. Our friends Jan and Dan that are in our Facebook group, the View from Florida Facebook group, are here as well. And they are at Site 14 in a camper. So this area over here is strictly for tents. It's very near the trail. Sites 19, 20, maybe 21. So campsite 21 is here, and then directly across from campsite 21 is the trail to the lake and the waterfall. This is site 23, which is right near the playground and directly behind the bathhouse. So this is the bathhouse area, and here we have 2 family restrooms and our dishwashing station over here. In the family restroom, you have your own private shower. Here's just the regular restroom, and in here there is a handicap accessible shower. And the regular shower. We have a shower curtain and a dry room, so you can get in here and keep your wet in the shower and your dry space. Always a good idea to bring a mat, so when you come out of the shower, even though you have a dry area, you know, have a little mat so you can get dressed without getting your clothes wet, you know, if you're dripping. So all the campsites here have electricity and water, and if you want to purchase firewood, they do have it at the ranger station when you first enter the park for $5. And it's not a really big campgrounds. It's very quaint. If I did have anything negative to say, there's just one little negative, and that is, I believe it's hearing road noise from Interstate 10. But at night, when it gets very quiet, you can hear the road noise from the highway, and it's not terrible, but you know, when you're out camping in the woods and you want to feel like you're, you know, somewhat roughing it, yet, you know, don't always like to hear the road noise. John and I hope you enjoyed watching our video on Falling Waters State Park and the campground here. If you'd like to follow our adventures through Florida, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at the View from Florida Facebook groups. And you can also follow us on our website, theviewfromflorida.com, which sometimes we get into a little more detail about the places that we're visiting. We have some articles with more detailed information that goes along with our videos. We do more than camping and hiking. We also go to museums, beaches, theme parks. We're trying to get around the state as much as we can. So until next time, thanks for watching, and please look us up on theviewfromflorida.com.